Welcome everyone to this class. So this class we are going to be looking at trigonometry. So today's trigonometry will be basically focusing on paper 2 trigonometry. Yeah. And remember, this is one of the questions which you have to choose whenever you are solving your math. And I highly encourage you to choose this question because this is one of the most simplest topic you come across in paper 2 because everything is straightforward. So you need to pay particular attention to this video because you don't need to know anything more about trigonometry apart from what I'll teach you in this class today. So make sure you are following, and don't follow to subscribe, comment and share the video to your friends. Yeah, so to begin, before you start solving trigonometric question, you need to understand some principles or some things which you need to use for you to calculate the what trigonometric questions. So what are those things which we need to understand on trigonometry? So the first thing you need to understand is the triangle itself. So there are two triangles which basically come on trigonometry. One is a triangle in paper 1, which is a right angled triangle. Then the other triangle is a triangle which is known as a scalene triangle. So what is a scalene triangle? So a scalene triangle, this is a triangle which all the sides are not equal. So whenever you hear scalene, just remember that this is a triangle which has all the sides which are not equal to each other. Yeah, so how does a scalene triangle look like? So a scalene triangle looks like this one. So these are the scalene triangles. Yeah. So now that we have understood the two types of triangles, we are going to see the formulas which you will need to be using as you are solving questions on trigonometry. And don't worry, for formulas which you'll be using on trigonometry, they have already been given to you in the cover page. So be sure to check the cover page for the formulas to use on trig. That's why I'm saying this question is one of the simplest questions because everything they give you starting from formulas, numbers, so your job is just to calculate. Yeah, so what are the formulas? So basically here we have two formulas which we use whenever we are calculating an angle or a side. So the first formula which you need to understand is the formula which is known as the cosine rule. So first, the formula which you need to understand is known as the cosine rule. So when can you use the cosine rule? So whenever you have two sides and one angle. So whenever you have two sides and one angle, remember what you need to use is the cosine rule. Let's look at some of the triangles which you can use the cosine rule. So the first triangle in which you can use the cosine rule is this one. So this triangle came in 2024. So be sure to check it. Now that you know that it's the cosine rule we use to solve. So the triangle looks like this. We have S, Q, P, and R. Then here we have 18 degrees. Then here we have 140 degrees as our angles. Then the sides we have so this is one of the triangles which you can use what is known as the cosine rule. So for you to use the cosine rule, unless they tell you to find the length of R and P. So this is what I'm saying. We have two sides and an angle between the two sides. So you say an angle between the two sides. So always the angle must be between the two sides. That's why I use this diagram, because we cannot use this angle to find the RP. We only use this angle because it is between 5 and 8 and it is opposite to RP. So now that you know which triangle we can use, which we can use to calculate the cosine, now we need to know the formula. So the formula we use is a squared is equals to b squared plus c squared is minus 2bc cos A. So this is the basic formula we use whenever we are calculating what? Trigonometry. So how can we use this formula to calculate now the side they have been looking for? So let's go back to the question. We solve the first part since we have known the formula which to use. So the more we are solving, the more I'll be explaining to you. So we know the formula to use. Now let's go back to the question. So we said that whenever we are calculating either the distance or the angle, we use the formula for cosine. So how do you know that the formula to use is for cosine? You look at your diagram. We have how many sides? 2. And our angle is where? Between the two sides. So the first step is you have to write now the small letters opposite the capital letter. What do I mean? So since we have M here, so the opposite side we have a small m. And since here we have n, so meaning the opposite side we have what? A small n. Then since here we have L, meaning the opposite side we have what? Small L. So this is simple. Just do this before you start solving any trigonometric question. Make sure you write the small letters, because those letters are the ones which we are going to use to guide us. So remember, I told you that the formula is a squared is equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. So this is the formula which we are using to solve this trigonometric question. So now how can we use this formula? Since here in this formula we have A, B, C, and here we don't have A, B, C. So that's why I told you to write these small letters, because we are going to replace these small letters in this formula. I want to show you how to replace this into this formula, because a lot get confused on changing the letters. So step 1, the side which you are calculating should be where A is. So ask yourself, which side am I calculating? We are calculating side what? LN. That's the distance we are calculating. So you say LN as M. So which means here you put M squared, then equals. Then here there is no need for you to start remembering which letter should I put first, or just put the remaining letters on the other side. So you say now, here where there is B, you can choose. You can either put N or L. So me, I'll put L squared, plus, then where there is C, I'll put N squared, minus the same 2LN cos. Then cos, we put the angle for the, which is opposite to the side we are calculating. So in our case, we are calculating M. So meaning our cos or our angle which we use will be M. Yeah. So this is how you can rewrite the formula, because in your paper you always find this formula at the cover of your paper. So your first job is to change this formula so that it looks or it suits your diagram. In some cases, the letters you have are A, B, C. So in that case, you can just go direct. But make sure the side you are calculating, or the side you are finding should be on the other side. In our case, M. So now let's solve. So if we go back to our question, we are calculating what? M. So you write, what is our M? So our M is just M squared. Then you say equals, what is L? So L is this one. So remember, that's why I said the first thing you need to do is indicate the small letters. So these small letters will guide us now which value are we supposed to put where there is L, where there is M, where there is N. So here where there is L, you put what? 16.6 squared, plus, then where there is N, you put what? 23.7 squared. Then you say minus 2. Where there is where there is L, you put 16.6 times N, which is 23.7 cos. What is our cos? Cos M, which is 106. Yeah. So once you do this, what is remaining is you just punching on the calculator. Yeah. And one more thing, when you are punching on the calculator, you can also make a mistake. You can find that you know the question, but you make a mistake on calculating. So I'll show you today how you can also calculate effectively or punch well on your calculator, as others may say. So the first thing is you square these numbers. So you say 16.6 squared, we have 275.56 plus 23.7 squared, we have 561.69 minus. So here, remember, I've put a minus here. You have seen, so I'll do like this. Then I'll multiply this side, starting with cos 106 going this side. So you say here minus, then in brackets you multiply. So this minus is this minus. So when I say minus, meaning I will start multiplying from 2 as positive 2. Remember, so you say now cos 106 times 23.7 times 6. Oh, first thing, you just say first cos 106, then you place equals. So whenever I say cos 160, place what? Equals. Then multiplied by 16.6 times 23.7 times 2. So we have what? Negative 739 point something. So you say negative 739.3877. We can end there. So the reason I put this number in brackets because I knew that we are going to have two negative signs. So since we have two negative signs, here now you can say negative times negative becomes positive. So meaning you are going to add everything. So you say m squared is equals to 275.56 plus 561.69 plus 739.3877. So if you add this on the calculator, 275.56 plus 561.69 plus 739.3877, we are getting 1644.94. So we are getting 1644.9477. Then here on the calculator, place this symbol. Then place equals to find the square root of the answer here. So we square both sides. So meaning our m is equals to 40.5579. So you can end here because in paper 2, leave your answer to 3 significant figures. They say instruction are part of the exam. So if you don't leave your answer to 3 significant figures, which means you haven't read the instruction. So here, how can we leave it to 3 significant figures? So just count 1, 2, 3. Then ask yourself, is the number here above or below 5? Is the number 5 or above, or it is below 5? So this number is 5, of course. So you add a 1 to the previous number. So you have 40.6 meters as your distance, LN. So that's how you can solve this question. And this question is 5 marks. So this is how you can get your 5 marks. So the next part we are going to do is how you can find the area. So finding the area also has a formula which you will find at the cover of your of your paper. So the formula for area is equals to half AB sin C. Yeah, so again I told you these formulas are general. This formula they give is to use for every triangle. So it's up to you now to change the letters you have been given to match the diagram you have, because if the formula is wrong and the diagram is wrong also, you get your answer wrong. So this is the formula. So how can we calculate now the error? So the simple trick here for you to calculate the error is, the question is saying first, calculate the area of triangle LMN. So here, the shortcut or the trick, just use the numbers you have been given where the angle is. So in our case, we have L and M and our angle is between them. So these are the numbers we are going to use. So you say half, then our A is 16. So you just pick N, it won't matter, times 23.7 sine 106. Yeah. So after you have done like this, again, here what you just need is multiplying. So you say sine 106 equals times 23.7 times 16.6 equals, then you divide by 2. So our area is 189. So our area is 189.08 meters squared. So the area is in meters squared, and remember also the units matters. Again, leave your answer to 3 significant figures. So our case here we have 189. So if you are to leave it to 3 significant figures, you count 1, 2, 3. Ask yourself, is the number next to 9 5 or above 5? Or is it less than 5? So in our case we have 0. It is less than 5. So you just say 189 meters squared. So that's how you calculate the area on trig. Now the final part that we'll look at in this video. Sorry, we didn't have time to look at the sine rule, but in our next class we are going to discuss the sine rule. So the last part is saying calculate the shortest distance. So here, calculating the shortest distance from M to LN. I forgot to write that. M to LN. So the formula we use for calculating the area is height is equals to 2 times the area divided by the base. So for those that don't know where this formula is coming from, it is coming from area of a triangle. So area is equals to half base height. So we are making the height as our subject of the formula, because if we say that the shortest distance from M to LN, we are going to draw a line here. Then once we draw a line here, meaning we are going to form what is known as a right angled triangle, which means this is our base and this is our height. So that's why we use H to represent the shortest distance. Yeah. So here again everything is given. So you just say, so the third part also. So you just say H is equals to what is the area of calculated. So the area of calculated is this one. So here, pick the number in point. Don't pick the number you have rounded off. So pick this number, because the number you have rounded off will increase the the height, because you have rounded it off. But if you pick this one, your answer will be close. So you say 2 times the area, which is 189.08. Then we divide it by our base, which is LN, because this is where the line is going. So which is, again, pick the one with point. So we say 40.5579. Then you punch on the calculator. This one is straightforward. So you just say 2 times 189.08. We divide it by 40.5579. We have our answer to be 9.3239 meters as our height. So here now again, leave it to 3 significant figures. 9.33 meters. So there you can write now, therefore shortest distance is equal to 9.33 meters. So this is how you can solve any questions on trigonometric on cosine rule. I told you how you can identify when to use the cosine rule. If you have two sides and one angle, we use the what is known as the cosine rule. I've explained how you can change the formula, also how you can calculate the area, how you can find the side, and how you can calculate the shortest distance. So this is where my video ends. So be sure to also watch my part 2 video where I talk about the sine rule, and we finish this question which we have also left.